Alright, welcome back. This is a little bit different than my usual videos about photography. Just want to do a little update on this John Deere Z960M that I have about 2 years ago at the end of the season of 2016. This was a new model for 2016, but it's basically the same as the Z920, 930, 950. This frame is the same. Dimensions are pretty much the same, I think, and the only difference is really the engine, I think, is pretty much it. It's a 31 horsepower, 1000 cc V-twin Kawasaki. Now, about at the end of 2016, and I'll go around here in a second, just show you. It's a little bit noisy in the background with all the insects, but being close to the microphones, I think it'll be okay. So, end of 2016, it might have been October, November, so I was pretty much done with the mowing season at that point, and I had to wait until spring 2017 to mow. So I mowed all 2017 and all 2018 with this. Well, it's August 2018. Well, actually, it's beginning of September already, 2018. So that will be pretty much a full 2 years of mowing after this. And I've got 155 hours on it now. I usually only put about 75 hours on it. Not all of that is mowing. Most of it will be. But anyway, we'll just get a little started here with the what I like about it and what I don't like and how it's held up. So I've really had zero problems with it. I mean, I haven't had any problems at all. It just starts up and mows. The only thing I really did have was this really petty, the sticker here on the engine peeled up and was coming off. So I told the dealer about that, and they gave me another sticker, and I slapped it on there myself, and you know, that's fine. I don't use a pressure washer or anything like that to clean it off. I just use a blower, a leaf blower, like a Stihl BR600 Magnum, which is a professional commercial blower, and you know, blow the leaves or grass off, whatever season it is. So there's really been no problems at all. Let me get this down. Actually, before I do that, so this is the 60-inch 7-iron deck. I only sharpen the blades once a year. And, you know, like I said, with that many hours I put on, I really don't have any problems. That's kind of what it looks like right now with probably 60 hours or so on it this year. And it's pretty good wide open, and the deck stays pretty well cleaned out. I don't know if you can see this. I'm just trying to... Yeah, you may not be able to see. It's kind of dark in there, but it doesn't really build up grass too much. It does get some build up in spring or when the grass is really wet. But overall, it keeps the deck cleaned out pretty well. It's not magic, but it will keep it really well cleaned out. It doesn't build up really bad around the blades like the X-Mark I had with the Ultra Cut 52-inch deck on it. And that's just kind of a more closed-in deck and a little more natural that it would build up there. But this one stays a little more cleaned out and cuts really well. I cut full speed on the few flat spots that I do have and not have any stragglers. So, the things that I don't like about it, I'll just go over that real quick. The tires in the front, they were the run flat tires or no flat tires. So basically it's like a semi-pneumatic. It's just got a pocket in the inside that, well, there's not really air in it, but it's just an empty spot. So the wheel will, you know, kind of press in a little bit if you put enough pressure on it, but they were pretty much hard as a rock. So I replaced them with this, with just the same size wheel, but they're air filled, and I think I have 11 pounds in those. You basically just buy the rim and the tire and everything all together, because you can't really take off those semi-pneumatic tires on the other one. So I just took those off and sold them. And so the reason I did that is because it rides really rough with those front tires that are semi-pneumatic, and it's just really hard on you. My yard is kind of mostly an old cow excuse me, cow pasture. So you can see out here, this is part of the old cow pasture, and this is not what I mow. This is part of the field, but my yard is really bumpy, and it does have the suspension seat, so that does help, but it's still not as good as you know, you would like it to be on a really bumpy land. And the tires, I did replace these. I had a video about that in the past. These are the HD Field Trex Carlisle tires, same size as the original tires, but more traction. And I'm going to get rid of these because they're just too they're just too rough on the grass. And you know, if you have to make any turns that are not even tight, but just a little bit tight, you know, the way those knobs are really close together, it just, when you turn, it just really twists in and just rips up the grass. And the other problem is when you're going down a hill diagonally, which I do a lot here because just the type of land I have, you know, if you're kind of going down a hill, that's kind of hard to. So let's say this wheel here is, let's try to get in position. Let's say, so if you're going down a hill and this wheel is on the top, you know, at the top side of the hill, and you're kind of going down an angle, you know, with any zero turn mower, that upper wheel, since it has less weight on it, as you're going down a hill diagonally, will want to naturally kind of slide a little bit. And if this slides, then it just really digs into the ground. So that, you know, those are, I think I have about 8 pounds in those as far as helping with the comfort of the ride. So that does help quite a bit. So with the front wheels replaced with the air-filled tires, and about 11 pounds in those, you don't want to go too low, because if you go too low, then you end up, when you hit something, you know, or turn sideways and kind of push the wheel into something, you might, you know, pop the tire off the rim, and I've done that a few times. So I put about 11 in there, so that's still enough to give you a little cushion, but still, you know, not have any trouble with coming off the rim once in a while. And back tires, you know, lower those down a little bit, and make sure you adjust the deck if you do lower the pressure, because then your deck pitch may be off a little bit. Normally you want to have the back of the deck kind of tilted up just slightly. I think it's about ½ inch or so. You know, just check your manual. I can't remember exactly what the specs are on this one, but I did readjust the deck when I put those different tires on and put the lower air pressure in. I did remove the covers on the deck here, because what happens is, this is one of the things that I don't necessarily like about it. Well, first of all, let's start with the deck. What happens is you get a lot of that grass up on there, and little sticks and so on will flip up in here once in a while, and then they get behind the cover when the cover's on top of the pulley there, and then you can't really see it, but it might be rubbing on the belt and so on, and it just, you know, starts eating away at your belt. And I mean, there's no danger of leaving it off, I mean, because you're not obviously having your feet or anything down here when the belts are off. Maybe there's a slight chance that you might get something thrown up in there, like a stick that would have been able to, you know, stay out if you had the cover on, but really not a big deal. So I just leave them off. It's easier to blow them out and wash them out with water if I need to. But the other issue with that is this type of spindle, down in right in there, I don't know if you can see it in there, but there's, actually you might be able to see that there's water laying in there right now, and there's like little pockets, you know, all around the spindle there, and those just fill up with water, dirt, and whatever else. I wish they had kind of made that flat, and I wish they had made the whole top of the deck there flat where the spindle is. That way the stuff would just kind of blow off, or, you know, naturally get kind of pushed out. But as it is right now, that stuff, any kind of dirt, I almost got stuck, so that's why the tires are full of mud. You know, there's a really wet area of the yard. I probably shouldn't have went in there. I knew it was still pretty wet. It's been wet this winter or summer, but so that's why you can see all that. And it was covered in mud. I just had to go wash it off, but it still got some in there when the tires started cleaning out. So that stuff gets up in there, but not a big deal really. The other thing, I don't really think there's anything else that I don't like about it. Obviously, the things I do like about it, it cuts great. You know, like I said, cut full speed. You know, not really have any stragglers left behind, even when the blades are not totally sharp like they are now. And beginning of September, been mowing all year with them, with one sharpening at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I mean, other than the durability and so on, it's got plenty of power. It does drink a little gas because that big engine on there. Like I said, it's a 31 horse Kawasaki. It's 1,000 cc's, kind of what they call the big block, but I didn't necessarily want this one, but that's kind of all they had in stock, and I just wanted to go ahead and get one and get it over with. Originally I was looking for the 930 or the 925 with the EFI, the electronic fuel injection, but this is just the carbureted model, and it's a little bit thirsty on gas, but I only mow like maybe 2 hours at the most each week. I mean, this sticker is not normally on here. I found the appropriate sticker for it. Kawasaki. John Deere likes to have everything debadged and just have John Deere on it, but obviously it's not a John Deere engine, it's Kawasaki. The other things I like about it, oil changes, really simple. So this is just right here, and you can see right in here is the oil filter, and the oil drains over here, so I'll just zoom in on that. So you can see the filter there, really easy, super easy to get to. And the drain is over here, right over in there, on the left. So you just stick a pan right underneath of it, and it comes right out in the pan. And if you need to, there's a bolt here, bolt there, two on the other side, and this whole back cover comes off, and you have really easy access to the engine. But the spark plugs are right here, so one on each side. So that's super easy to change the spark plugs. Comes with these weights on the back to help with traction. And the wheel motors, it's like a combination unit. They're right up in there. You see the drain plug right there, one on each side. These are not Parker or what's the other one? Hydro Gear. These are made by Tough Torque. If you look on Tough Torque's website, actually you can see, if I can zoom in, and I don't know if you'd be able to see it. Probably not. It's going to want to focus on the wheel the way I've got the focusing set up. But right in there, there's a badge. It's made by Tough Torque. And I believe this is the Python model that they make. Around 500 hours is the first change for the fluid on those. Haven't changed it yet. Obviously, I've only got 175 hours on it, something like that, or 155. And rather than putting the John Deere fluid in it, you can just go buy what Tough Torque recommends on their website. If you buy one, you can look it up on their website, the specific model. But I think it's basically Mobile 1 5W20, I believe it might be, for synthetic fluid. So that'll be some really good high quality fluid. I might go ahead and change that this year, even though it's not anywhere near 500 hours, but it's been 2 years. So I'll go ahead and take that plug that I pointed to on others. You just take those two plugs out. There's filters in there, drain it all out. And there's a reservoir up under here. I don't know if I can lift this up. Yeah, there we go. So there's the reservoir for the hydraulic fluid, which is basically, like I said, just a synthetic motor oil. And the battery's under there. Really, again, super easy to get to. Just one little rubber strap you pull off, take the two nuts off the battery terminals, and you've got the battery out. The fuel filter is right here on the fuel line. That's really easy to get to, so it's just right down in here. Fuel gauge is over here. The only other thing that I don't like about it actually is this really tiny fuel filler. Now they did change these on the later years, like I don't know when it was, 2017 or 2018 model. But first of all, it's like straight up vertical, so that makes it a little bit difficult. And it's pretty small, the opening. So I think what they did on the newer models is it's much bigger, got a much bigger mouth on it, and it's kind of angled out this way. So it's much more natural to just walk up to it, take that fuel cap off, and put your fuel can in there. That's much easier. I don't know why I just can't imagine that whoever designed this, they would go out and start testing it, walk around and put fuel in it. Like, wait a minute, why is that thing so small and straight up and down like that? Can't you put that off to the side a little bit, make it bigger? That's such an easy change. I don't know why they didn't do that, but just a minor thing. Obviously the air filters, the inner and outer air filter in here, really easy to get to. So like I said, maintenance is super easy on this, and I haven't had one problem with it. I love the changing of the height on the deck here. So this kind of locks the deck up or down depending on when you lift the deck up with the little lever there with your foot, and then you can lock or unlock it here. And when you've got it pulled up, you just spin this around to whatever height you want for the cut. There's the hour meter in the little information center there if you had any alarms or errors. Toggle switch for the deck off and on, the throttle, and the choke, since it's a carbureted engine, it's not fuel injected. Excuse me. Yeah, so the only grease points on it, there's 3 on the deck, just one on each spindle right at the top, and of course there's one on each front caster wheel right on the back, well, one there, and then one over here right there. But that's really about it. I mean, it's been a great mower. I think when I get a little bit older, I'm 48 now, I'll be 49 in a month or so. As I get older and had to start mowing some other neighbors' yards, probably, at least I would like to, replace this with something like a John Deere Z960M. It's like a subcompact tractor, just a really, it's like an oversized lawn tractor, lawnmower basically. It looks like a big lawnmower, but it is a really small tractor. It's a real tractor with a diesel engine. I'll try to get this down here, the seat. I'd get a 60-inch deck with that, 7-iron deck, and that would be a little more comfortable. Plus I can go straight down a hill. So with this, obviously you start going straight down a hill, the rear tires, like any zero turn, are going to want to start sliding. And once you start sliding down a hill, you just better hope there's not a creek, a river, lake, cars, traffic, people, anything at the bottom, because it would be really hard to stop it. I mean, you may be able to flip the levers, try to spin it around, spin it backwards so you get a little more traction to stop, but it just could be really dangerous. So with a 4-wheel drive little tractor going straight down a hill, that's why I never really go straight down a hill with this, unless it's not very steep at all. A 4-wheel drive tractor, obviously the front wheels are giving you a grip because it's 4-wheel drive. So I think that'd just be easier and safer when I get older. But for now, this is a really nice mower, and obviously it's kind of expensive. It is a commercial mower. It would last forever if I decide to keep it, but like I said, I'd probably end up getting a tractor. You see I've got a bigger John Deere, trying to remember the name of it. This is part of what I had to mow with the tractor. Kind of hard to see the steepness of it, but there is some steeper hills there, and this is kind of like I'm on the top, like on the kind of the plateau. It's not necessarily a ridge, but it's kind of the higher area, and then my house would be over in that way, and then where my house is, it's kind of like down off of the ridge a little bit, and then I've got hills in the front, so pretty much everything I mow is a hill, and I just mow this back here with a tractor. But so that's why I originally put those tires on there in the first place, to get more traction. And at some point I just realized, it's too much for the grass it's tearing up. I used to have Carlisle AT101 tires, kind of like a lug style, like 2 bars that go, like in a V on the tires, and that was actually less damaging than these. And that was I had those on my Exmark, so those were better as far as damage. But I think these are better overall for traction, but it's just too damaging to the grass. So I think I'll get those swapped out with some Carlisle turf tires. Not the Turf Master tires. There's another tire, I can't remember the name of it. I think they put those on the Ferris mowers. It's like a 24 by 12 size, same size as this, but it's like a turf tire, and I think that would be good. You just have to be really careful about the hills and mowing in any kind of wet areas like this, where I almost got stuck. I mean, I've got ruts that are probably, it's down in the mud when I was flipping around, just trying to not get stuck right in front of down there by the road and look like an idiot. But so I spun it around back and forth, try to get myself out. Now I've got about 6-inch ruts that I need to go down there and fill in. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much it. That should be, I did a really in-depth overview of this earlier on, but I just wanted to go back and say how it was holding up, which is holding up really well. It's got a 3-year warranty for anybody, I guess. It's 3 years, and was it 1,200 hours, I think? Something like 1,200 hours, or whichever comes first. Obviously 3 years is going to come first for me. No way I'd get 1,200 hours on there, but if you're a commercial user and mowing like 30 hours a week or more, that would come up really quick. But for a homeowner, I mean, you'd get a full 3-year bumper-to-bumper warranty out of this. For the price, you would hope so, but it's built like a tank, and it's just 0 problems with it. No engine problems, no hydrostatic, like transmission problems or anything, wheel motors, anything like that. Everything's just working really well. So I'm going to stop there, and thanks for watching. Hopefully the bugs have not been too distracting in the background. I've been pretty close to the camera. One of the last videos I made with standing 5-6 feet away from the camera. There's a little plane up there in the sky too. Just a little loud with those bugs, but I think you can hear me well in this one, hopefully. Alright, well thanks for watching. Probably the next one will be about photography again. Goodbye.